Tracy York. This is my space. Normally, I host business owners and business entrepreneurs who come to share their story. I started this because of my own personal experience. I have run businesses for the past maybe 15 years. I've lost businesses 3 times. So I thought of helping someone out there who wants to start a business with wisdom and knowledge that will help navigate through this pitfall. So this is the reason why we are here. I welcome everyone: Michael, Joseph, Comfort, Mr. Inzu, Oman, Mr. Sharad. Okay, let me see the name. Okay. Oh, Mr. Hussein. Yeah, Mr. Hussein. I've been in one. Is that Dr. Vivian, Brenda, Ruth? You're welcome. Thank you very much for joining. So, sir, kindly tell us who you are, introduce yourself, and then a brief introduction of what you represent. Then we enter into the discussion.
Thank you very much, Kwasi. First of all, can you hear me?
Hello, can you hear me, sir?
Can you hear me?
If you can hear me in the audience, kindly give me an emoji. If you can hear me, okay, right. Thank you, Dr. Vivian. Thank you
Hi.
very much. Right.
Yes, okay. So just had a LinkedIn glitch again because it sometimes take you out. Right. So my name is Manoj Ranaweera. I just turned 56. For the last 20 years, I have been building early stage technology companies as well as ventures related to tech companies. So I live in the UK in Manchester. So that's a quick introduction, I suppose.
All right, thank you. And let's jump into it right away so that we don't waste our audience time and also get them involved as well. At a point, I'll be allowing questions. So just if you have a question, just raise your hand. It's a working day, so if you want to send, you can also send me a DM and I can read it out to Mr. Manon. Okay, so what inspired you to just think about this platform? First of all, you tell us his name, how many years have you, and then which are the country. Okay, let's look at the inspiration. Why that, and why is it targeted to tech startups?
Okay, so again, can you hear me? Because I think it's just keeping right. MacBook. Hi, hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, all right, brilliant. Okay, so as I said, I started my first tech company 20 years ago, and I've been building, failing, exiting tech companies over the 20-year period. And I myself suffered from, let's say, lack of sufficient capital to hire a big enough team to realize whatever the company I was building at the time. And I've also come across many individuals who want to build a tech company but don't actually have savings to get started. They don't necessarily able to get the attention of investors. So it is very hard to build a business, especially technology product-based business, without capital because you need a team. So I had this problem and I never really thought what the solution might be. So the idea is that wouldn't it be nice if you can have free talent that could help you in that very, very early stage of validating an idea, building a product, getting some traction so that maybe you can stand on your own 2 feet afterwards once you start generating revenues, or you can go and raise investment. I didn't know what the solution to solving that problem was. So when the pandemic, the COVID-19 pandemic happened in 2020, I got, start thinking about the talent and, what's happening with the job market. And then in the UK, there was a scheme called furloughed, where the government stopped everyone going to work, asked them to stay at home. And the government also actually paid part of the salary but you were not allowed to work for your employer. So at that time, I thought, wouldn't it be nice to actually connect these furloughed individuals and the startups, so that the startups can actually have some amazing talent free of charge for while the furlough scheme was running. So we ran this from April 2020 to July. And while I was doing that, I just realized that perhaps a way to go ahead with this is to create an environment where there are volunteers who startups can access. But in terms of the volunteers, they can actually engage and get experience to improve their careers. So if you think about education, there are thousands and thousands of places where you can get educated. There are job markets, but there's a significant gap between education and the job market of getting real experience. There isn't a place where you can go to. You have freelancer sites where you can go and earn money, but to get experience, there isn't a place as such. So the idea was that Skill Up Life will create that place where you can go and get experience. At the same time, the early stage tech companies who doesn't have enough money to hire people can tap into this talent force, so we can provide benefit to both ends of that marketplace. So that's how the idea came about. And it perhaps wouldn't have happened if COVID didn't take place. So, COVID was considered as a bad thing, but it also gave opportunities for companies like Skilled Up Life to come about. Without that, I would have never got the idea in the first place.
Wow, that's great. I mean, whatever happened, whatever bad thing happened, there is good in it. The law of opposites says that. So let's look at how does Skilled Up Life help startup build a great team. Now we know the why you started it,
Yeah.
what inspired you, but what is in it for somebody starting out as a tech personnel?
Yes, so when we started, we were looking at helping companies, but then we realized that, really everything starts with an idea, and we all of us get ideas every day, and we are only helping those who want to build technology companies. But once you get an idea, how do you test that out? How do you validate that? Typically, we speak to family and friends. Sometimes family members say, "Oh, it's just a crazy idea." But there isn't an environment where you could go and validate that properly. So the earliest stage that companies, let's say you have an idea to build a tech company, you could subscribe to Skilled Up Life, and you could go and build what I call a concept validation team, which might include market research folks, individuals to do some surveys, understand who might be interested in your proposition, develop that idea further. So you could actually validate that properly with the number of people involved before you try to spend the rest of your life trying to build this new company. So the companies or individuals who want to build companies can simply subscribe to Skill of Life. And then once they subscribe, they can access unlimited talent. They all come from, all volunteers. We don't charge per volunteer basis. We just charge a fee to access the platform. Once you subscribe, you could have any number of people you can manage. So if you want to have 100 people team, you can have it, provided you know how to manage it. You are muted, Kwasi. Do you want me to explain a bit more?
Hello, yeah, I think the glitches got me. If you can hear us, kindly give us an emoji, and if you're having value too, kindly give us an emoji as well. So moving on to the next question, you've mentioned that you're in the UK, Manchester. Do you have such stories that you can share with us? And are you targeting Africa? Are you targeting probably where we are? Nigeria is the biggest market. You have South Africa, you have Ghana. Do you have any plans for them? But first of all, we want you to look at, can you share some of the success stories you had since you started this platform, Skilleduplife?
Sure. So our talent come from 136 countries. So we right now we have 47,000 people who have signed up as volunteers, and 35% of them come from Nigeria. 25% come from Indonesia, and then the rest is scattered across the world. But the majority actually come from Africa, and the other countries that are leading are Ghana, Kenya, and South Africa. We have, so if you look at the talent side, we help people from 18 onwards. I normally say from 18 until you die. The reason I say that is that pretty much everybody falls into three categories. One, you are very young and you want to get that initial experience. Then it's sort of when you get to about 30s and 40s, you are looking for career transition perhaps. So you want to try out different industries or different disciplines. And the last group is, you towards my age or beyond, where you're sort of looking at retirement. You want to come back and, give back to, and really just want to help a tech company. So if in terms of, if you look at the first demography, we had individuals who haven't even finished A levels. I assume, I don't know how the African education system is, but A levels is in here before you go to university. We only help 18 onwards. We had A level students after 18 joining us and gaining some initial experience. We had lawyers and others who want to transition into HR. One of the success stories is we at one point in my own team, we had our head of HR was a lawyer. She wants to transition into HR. She did a volunteer term with us, and then it took her a while after that, but she managed to actually transition. And now she runs a very large HR function in a very large organization in Nigeria. We had others that who have been trying to get jobs but haven't really succeeded because they didn't have the experience. They've done a volunteer term with us or with our customers, and then go on to get successfully get a job. We also have individuals who have volunteered, and as a result, the company has grown and they've got jobs with the same company. So we ourselves have created jobs, same way as our customers. On the customer side, we have companies that come from, so most of the companies come from UK, USA, and Europe, and we also have companies from Africa. So they have, as I mentioned, we sort of help them with early stage, with validating the concept, building the product. So we have a number of companies that's actually started to grow as a result of this. So I had a event today in Manchester where one of our customers was present, and he is now he's taken on a number of Africans into his team as volunteers. Now he's thinking about looking at how to employ some of them, and he's keen on, I think he's planning to go visit Cape Town towards the end of the year, and he might actually visit Nigeria as well. So we see quite a lot of different type of success stories emerging.
Great, great. So now let's get into the key steps. Let's take for example, I'm a digital marketer. I want to get on your platform. What steps do I take? And when you are done, probably somebody out there has a startup, tech startup that he wants to get on your platform. What are the key steps that that person is supposed to take? And then I think little details helps. So the key steps then.
Okay, so if you're a tech company, first of all, you got to sign up and create a company profile. So the company profile is very important because you got to you got to inspire others to give their time and join your company on a volunteer basis. So you got to talk about what you're trying to do, what sort of problems you're trying to solve, and why people should give their time free. And then once you build the profile, we have two pricing plans. Our lowest plan start from £30 a month. So once they subscribed, they had to go and create what we call volunteer opportunities. We have a template that we recommend the companies to follow, explain a little bit about the company, the role, what activities they would do once join a company, and also talk about what the individual will get as a result of volunteering. What I meant by here is that what skills would they gain, what experiences would they gain, and how is that relevant to the jobs out in the market. And then they also need to give a testimonial at the end, and also a letter of recommendation. So once you list the opportunities, next the company, so the volunteers will come and apply. There's a typically a simple pre-qualification stage, going into a very short interview, typically about 30-minute interview. And if they're successful, then obviously there has to be a agreement signed, and this is a volunteer agreement. We have a template that companies can use, and that's the process of engaging with volunteers. In terms of the volunteers themselves, so you had to sign up on Skilleduplife website, create a volunteer profile. It's a little bit similar to creating a CV, but we have a section called About Me, where you need to, ideally you want to quickly introduce yourself, what you have done up to now, and what your career aspirations are, and what particular volunteer opportunities you would be interested in. So let's think about marketing. Do you want to be a copywriter? So it's best to spell out saying, I'm looking for copywriter volunteer opportunities. Sometimes we see profiles where they list out like 20, 30 different things. So when a company comes and look at their profile, they get very confused. So the next part is, at any education qualification you have, explain, rather than just put a degree or a diploma, explain what you learn. Then declare your previous experiences, work experience. And also don't just put a title and a company name, explain what you did and how that benefited yourself as well as a company. So, end of the day, companies want people who can perform, even, from volunteering. So you got to sell yourself. So if you don't spend time building a profile, you're not going to get any opportunities. Sometimes we see individuals coming and just creating an account and don't do anything, don't spend time. The companies are not magicians. They can't read what you have done unless you express yourself. So, even on LinkedIn, when I look at individuals' profile, some profile, there's no information at all. So, just having a profile and a name, it's not enough. You got to spend some time doing that. And it's the same with whatever you do. So we ourselves pay a lot of attention to detail. So we don't want you to write pages and pages of information. It has to be concise enough for somebody to understand, saying, you are capable of doing this. So that's how you create a volunteer profile. Then once you create it, you can go and apply to any opportunities. We see different trends here. Ones that, you know exactly what you want, you go and apply to them. And then we have the opposite side where people are a little bit, don't think through and they just apply to whatever they can find. And that gives a lot of mixed messages. Sometimes within the same company, they apply for multiple roles, and then the company look at it and say, listen, I don't understand what this person wants. So you're not going to be successful. we have a lot of information on the website. So I think that, people ought to read them because we've written it expecting you to read it, understand it, then go and create the accounts.
Okay, all right. So do you have a system that helps the startups who find the right volunteers, or it's more or less they are waiting to be, they are just there with their account, and then they have access to the type of people that apply? Do they also have a system where they can go to poach or to look for people and
Sadly, we don't have.
or match?
Yeah, sadly, we don't have intelligent matching at the moment. So what you see on Skilled Up Life is what we typically call in the tech industry minimum viable product. It's something I put together within 3 days, and we went live using WordPress. So it's not really proper technology. We haven't coded, but we are now taking our 4 years of experience and creating the version 2, and we are building version 2 by writing code. And what we think is that once we have version 2 up and running, we are looking at how best to help the tech companies to pick the best candidates for best volunteers for their roles. Right now, we don't have a system, but we are open to many suggestions. We are even looking at, could we create an API that allow various tools to be incorporated into what we offer. So I was talking to a startup that they haven't actually launched their product. They are called Potentialization. They've used us in the past. They will come back to use us again. But what they are looking at is through surveys and etc. They're trying to understand the potential of individuals. So we are also interested in using some of our own customers' technologies where possible. So I think once we build a version 2, a lot of things will become easier. Right now, it's a little bit tricky.
Okay. Well, I was on the platform. That's why I asked the question anyway. So, what is in it for the volunteer one to just devote his or her time on the platform? Apart from the experience, what other skills does the person stand to gain by being on the platform?
So, you can't earn, first thing, and there are no paid jobs aligned after completing a volunteer term. So people join us for many different reasons. One, as I said, these three typical groups. If you are young, very young, and you haven't worked anywhere at all, you want to get some work experience. You can transition your career, sometimes from, let's say, from marketing to sales or marketing to HR or whatever it is, or go. You might be in a banking industry and you want to get into tech. And sometimes you are not looking to change the job, you're not looking to change the career, you just don't actually, you have a good job but you are not getting certain type of experiences. So you want to come to us and get that experience, and perhaps then that could be used to get a promotion. So the people use us in many, many different ways. But it's all, we talk about experience and skills. So those are the two things. And sometimes people just do a course and there's no environment for them to actually practice what they learn. So they can find a relevant opportunity through us, and they can actually practice what they learn in a classroom environment. So, we want to cater for the whole world. And, we have a start, but we got a long way to go to make it work for as many people as possible.
Okay, all right. So, a follow up. What type of, apart from the tech industry where you are, what type of volunteers do you need? I know you did mention of marketing, you did mention of HR. Could you run through a list so if somebody
Yeah.
feels that there's a particular area that he wants to volunteer, he just know, okay, this is right for me.
Okay. So if I talk about how you build a tech company, so you have an idea, you need to validate that we call it concept validation. Once you validate that idea, you want to build a product, because we only support technology companies. If you look at product, you got product managers, UI UX designers, you have software developers, you need people to test whatever you build. You have people who have understanding of cloud infrastructure, DevOps. Then once you build a product, you got to tell the world that you exist. So marketing, you got to find people who want to sign up for your product. You got to convert them into customers. So you're looking at sales, business development. Once you got customers, you need to support them. Obviously, you got to build a team. So you need HR, human resources. You need legal to make sure you conform with regulations. You need to manage. Once you start generating revenues, you got to manage, look at metrics. You need accountants. So almost all the different type of discipline are needed. And secondly, let's say that you're building a health tech company. So they might need clinical talent. And let's say you are building a logistic tech company, you might need people who have great understanding of logistics. So industry experience is also very much useful. I mean, there are large number of people out there who have very specific industry experience. They may not have been exposed to tech. So, those can come into us and find opportunities. Let's say you work in a bank, so you know how the banking works. So maybe one of our customers building a financial technology company, fintech, if they could access that level of experience, that's going to help them improve their product, improve how they run the business. So there are very small number of perhaps disciplines or industries that might not actually benefit from what we offer. Let's say you are building a manufacturing technology type company, or IoT company, robotics, etc. So everybody knows something, and then they can get involved. And volunteering is we call a volunteer term, is 2 to 3 hours per day for 60 volunteer days over 3 months period. So 3 months is such a short time. 2 to 3 hours is, instead of watching TV, you could spend on this in the evening. You could select the time you want to allocate. You could have a full-time job while doing this. You could be doing a degree while doing this. You could be doing multiple part-time jobs. If you're not too tired, you can still do it. So the way we design this is, it's designed as an add-on to daily life. So it should not cause you too much trouble. But if you can commit, and if you want to improve yourself, then you can get this. And there's no limit to how many volunteer terms you can have. We've designed it in a way that whenever you want experience, you can come to us. Let's say you did a term now, 2-3 years time, you want to come back, you can do so. Hello? Yeah, yes, I can hear you. Yes.
Give me an emoji. Yeah. All right. That's great. All right. So if you have a question, kindly raise your hand and join in the conversation. We are 30 minutes in. So I want to ask, how protected is a volunteer when
I lost you. Which question are you on now? I think you are saying, how protected are the volunteers. So the protection comes through the volunteer agreement, which makes the obligation towards the other party very clear. So, for example, anything that's built, intellectual property, belongs to the company. Now, the volunteer might be able to, with the company's permission, be able to talk about what contribution was made. So if somebody actually join my own team, we also, in addition to what they do, we also recommend that they go and, they learn two things in addition. One is public speaking. So we run events, they can come and talk. Second is that they could write about what they're doing, and they automatically become a content writer. So we have, for example, Ola from Nigeria, actually. She's a practicing nurse. She wants to move into sales. So she did a volunteer term. Actually, she got a job afterwards. So she started writing, and she's actually, you could see that she write quite a lot on LinkedIn, and she's building a profile as a result of content writing. So there's a different ways to benefit as well.
Okay. I think I lost you a bit, but okay. If you are here, you heard what he was saying. Just give me a time. Maybe it's my end. Give me an emoji. Okay. All right. That's great. All right. So, if you have a question, can you raise your hand? Join it. It's a platform that I think we all can take advantage of, and your input will greatly help them feel they are all right. So I think I have George. Okay. So before I go to my next question, George, you can speak. Okay.
Hi, George. I think, George, you had to unmute.
Okay. Aman. No. If you have, can you?
Hi, okay, my name is Oman from Ghana. So I want to ask. So for me now, I'm creating a network of young people who want to enter into tech. So I want to ask, what capacity, I mean, how many people can you take? Okay, or you don't have a limited number of people you are taking? Because I have about let's say 500 people, 500 plus people who are really interested in stuff like that. So, thanks.
So, everybody can sign up. So we are building the business. So, we're looking for tech companies to join, and they will create opportunities. So we also partner with organizations, especially with education providers. We also build country teams. So, we have a number of individuals from Ghana in our team. I noticed that, Oman, you are in Diago, I assume breweries, etc. So I think in the audience we have Festus. So Festus has 20 years of FMCG experience, similar to you. So Festus is volunteering for us. He's actually our head of sales from Nigeria. So this is not just for young people. Festus has a full-time job. So my suggestion is, if you have that large number of people, 500 people, best to talk to me later on, or we have a partnership team. They can work with you and explain how your young folks can sign up, build a profile.
We can't hear you now.
Oh, you can't hear me?
Yeah, Madrid, we can hear you now. Can you? Hello.
Hi, can you hear me?
Let's just give him some time. I think maybe a bit of a network glitch. He'll be back.
Hi, can you hear me now? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we lost you a minute.
Oh, okay. Yes.
We lost you when you said he can speak to you later. So just
Okay.
continue from there.
So sorry, what I meant is that we have partnership team, so I can get them to connect with you, Oman, and then we can discuss how best to serve the 500 people you have.
All right. Thank you very
All
much.
right. Oman, are you okay with that? Okay. All right. That's fine. George.
Okay, so good evening, everyone. I've listened keenly to your questions and the response from Manoj. So basically, signing up to Skilleduplife is purely volunteer, and I've just come on, and of course, I have a wealth of experience of over 30 years from electricity to other sales and then into fintech. So what you stand to benefit in signing up here is you have opportunity to train up other younger people, bring them into what they needed to know and how to grow, and then just offer service. And then you have opportunity to network. You never can tell what that benefit will bring. So when you give people opportunities, if you're interested in building up other people, you discover that it will create room for you for as you deliver what you know, you gain more insight, and then you get connections that can help you earn money later. So the core is give out back to society what you've experienced, you've gathered, help leverage on so that other people can leverage on what you've known to build up. And then that in itself gives joy, gives satisfaction. Manoj celebrated 56 the other day. I'll be 54 by November. So the experience we've gathered, we want to collaborate, build other people, give it out, and then it will be a win-win for both us and those who are coming into the space. So I'd just like to add that addition to what he has said so far. Thank you.
Thank you so much, George.
Thank you. If you have a question, just raise your hand and join us. And then, also, my next question is: would there be a situation where a volunteer would have his role change into a permanent role, if that is possible on your platform?
Yes, so we don't get involved in what I call paid talent. So when you go into, so for example, we create a number of jobs ourselves. So if you look at, I don't think we have anyone here today, but Chidima, who runs our support, she was a volunteer. She's now full-time. Some of our customers have done the same. Some have gone into, let's say, not necessarily employees, but on some sort of paid capacity. It's all possible, but we don't ourselves get involved in that when that happens with the customer. So we focus on the volunteering part only because we don't want to give a mixed message. So you should sign up simply to get experience and skills, not thinking there's going to be a job available. If a job happens as a result of how, that's great. But the idea ought to be that, I have time or I want to commit my time because I want to improve myself and I want to improve my career prospects. That should be the reason for joining. Or just like what George was saying, give back. Now, even if you come and say, I just want to give back, and just like George was saying, because it's a very much an international community, so you could join a startup and you might have team members from China, Indonesia, Africa, from Argentina, US, Europe, and you are operating with everyone in the same environment. So you suddenly build a lot of experiences, and some of these relationship you build could go into thrive outside Skilleduplife. So we are right now we are a very tiny company ourselves, but one day I hope that we can grow into something bigger so that I myself actually can go and visit some of the countries, but we are not at that stage. So we have a couple of companies that are looking to actually travel, and using us build their markets in different countries as well. So I think, in a nutshell, what we are doing is we are bringing people together, both on tech company side, which is obviously, again, humans and individuals, and we are sort of mixing them up. So we have also volunteers who are now going to the other side, building tech companies. So we have Paul from Kenya building a tech company. And he was previously a volunteer. And we see this happening over and over. And if anyone got an idea, they can sign up to our starter plan, and you could test that idea, see whether it's legs, and then you could go in to build a product. So, I mean, we don't talk too much about this, but you could easily, more entrepreneurs can emerge as a result of what we are creating. Because it doesn't cost much to start now because of us, and there's technology advancements as well.
Okay, Dr. Vivian.
Okay, good evening, everyone. Thank you so much, Kwasi, for this opportunity. Thank you, Manoj. I hope I'm pronouncing it well.
Yeah, it's fine. Thank you. Yes. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. I want to say that this is actually a very awesome opportunity. I myself am currently volunteering for a chatbot company. Basically, it's like a gender-based violence initiative where chatbots are actually used. It's like an AI company where chatbots can be like run an interface between humans and then people who are currently suffering gender-based violence challenges, and how they could be rescued from like the different that they could be rescued from every part of the world. Okay, yes. So in terms of the volunteering, it's one of the best thing that could happen to anyone, in the sense that you get to work with, like, sometimes most of my colleagues are like from the UK, the US, and all. And so I totally understand what Upskilled is doing. But I also want to find out, is there a place of giving recommendations, like when you work as a volunteer, or you people don't have an interface at all? You just work based on when maybe, let's say, another company comes and requests for, maybe, let's say, volunteer who is supposed to maybe develop a prompt for a chatbot or something like that, and then you get some people. Are you the ones that run? Who writes the recommendation? The company themselves or Upskilled? I don't know. I just wanted to find out.
Yes.
When you answer this, then I can ask another question.
Okay, so at the moment we are running a very basic product, and I think once we develop version 2 and beyond, we can incorporate some of the things that happen sort of outside us. So the letter of recommendations is written by the company, not by ourselves, but we'll make it easier after we build version 2. We ourselves have started to also give certificates. We don't want to give certificates to everybody. Certificate has to be earned, and we want those certificates to be of value. So, we set certain targets, and I think what we'll do is that once we build the version 2, I don't know, it could be version 2.3, we will find a way to make it possible for our customers to also give certificates, so we can bring a lot more consistency. So you mentioned that you are already volunteering, and I think people do volunteer all the time. And in a nutshell, what we are trying to do is we are trying to formalize that a little bit more, put a framework around it, create a safer environment. We have occasions where both parties get upset with each other. We try to try to find a way out. We also want to, sometimes, there are perception that because volunteers don't earn, they are now of value. They can't really make any difference to us. We are trying to change the mindset, and we can only change the mindset by demonstrating results. When we started, a lot of people criticized what I was trying to do, but at that time I couldn't defend myself. But now we can, because we have case studies. And I think when we go into version 2 and beyond, we can make this, we right now we are operating without access to data because quite a lot of things happen outside. So when we build those functionality, we will have a rich data set. We can also try to understand more about humans, skills, etc. So I think, it's going to get really interesting. And I mean, not everything's working as well as it should. And also, we had a very humble beginning. It took me 176 days to convince 100 people to sign up. It was really hard. And we had the best sign-up day on 3rd of this month, where 668 new people signed up. And they all came from Nigeria. So, but we got a long way to go. I mean, it's amazing that you are volunteering. I know that actually my daughter, my youngest daughter, is in just finished the second year of medical college. I think that your profession is drastically different now compared to 10, 20 years ago, where more and more doctors are getting involved with tech startups because you get frustrated with how your industry runs, and there's so much innovation happening. We got a couple of health tech companies as well. There's one from South Africa who's trying to build. I think they want to build a very complex system. I think they are now trying to simplify it. So a lot of people don't know us yet. So we got to build awareness, and we really want to help. I mean, I'll be frank. When I started, I didn't know a single Nigerian. Today, I ran an event in Manchester. There were 3 came, and some of them actually heard of Skilleduplife. So there's over 20 people in my team, and so it get crazy. And without Skilleduplife, I wouldn't have known come to know these individuals. So we actually bring the whole world together in a way, even though we are still tiny, and everyone can get involved.
All right, Doctor, your second question, please.
I think he was able to merge everything together for me. Thank you so much, Mr. Manoj. And thank you, Pasi, for the opportunity.
All right. So if you have a question, just raise your hand and join in the conversation. So my next question is, since you started and working with startup, what advice will you give to somebody who wants to start? And how can the person really leverage your app and get more? All right.
Yes. So I talk about concept validation. I think there are a couple of things that are important. So our role is to actually help you find the talent, in this case, volunteer talent, to build your team and get going. So you could think about us as so we can help you with building the team, advice, guidance, etc. But that itself is not enough. You need to know how of how you're going to build a tech company. Now, I've been doing this for 20 years, so I know that, but most people don't know that. So you need another set of people to help you. So, people may have heard about accelerators. There are a lot of accelerators in Africa now. So you might want to sign up to accelerator. But what we will also explore, we can't do it right now, once we build the next version and beyond, is maybe come up with templates. Let's say that you come to us with an idea. How would you put together let's say concept validation team? Once you validate the idea, how would you build a product team, right? So I think we can go so far in terms of helping you with that, but you still need to have a know-how. We have a lot of people who want to build a tech company but hasn't got an idea about how do you actually build a product, how do you actually select the technologies. There's so many different ways you could build a product. Some people may have heard about things called no code, low code. So Skilleduplife itself took me 3 days to build using WordPress. So you could consider that as a low code. I didn't have to write a single line of code, right? So what I did was I bought a template in this case called theme, whole bunch of plugins, and that's what we got today. And we ran it for 4 years. We got 47,000 individuals. We have helped 137 companies. Still a very small number. So you could go very far with not knowing how to code. But that activity where I selected WordPress because I knew WordPress and I also knew exactly what I was doing, that knowledge take many years to acquire. So you still need some help. And sometimes these could be called mentors, coaches, or accelerators and others. So you still need them, right? Because we don't try to attract those individuals as volunteers. Volunteers typically through us is that you are spending every day trying to help a company for a short period of time, whereas mentors or coaches would be spending, an hour a month or hour a week, something like that.
Okay. Amaka, I hope I got your name right this time. Please kindly speak.
Kwasi, hello, how you doing? See, you're doing a good job. Finally got it right. Yeah, thank you for the opportunity. This has been really interesting to listen, even though I came in late. So I don't know if the question I want to ask has been answered. Sorry if that's the case, but I really think this is a great opportunity, especially for those of us from Nigeria or from Africa, wherever you are trying to leverage global opportunities. It's good to start from somewhere, right? To begin to build up your skill. My question is, for your volunteers, do you have a specific time frame? Is it like you're volunteering for 3 months? Here is the certificate for it. You're doing it for 6 months or 1 year? Is there like a structure? Is there a plan around it? And then is there like a time frame that people know they are volunteering for 20 hours a week, 10 hours a week, something like that? I don't know if you mentioned that, but that's what I wanted to. That's the question I wanted to ask.
Yes.
Because I feel like that would help to give people a sense of better commitments to really know what they are signing up for. Right.
Yes. So typical volunteer term, which is backed by a volunteer agreement, is 2 to 3 hours per day for 60 volunteer days over a 3 months period. That is volunteering every day. Now, this is what we recommend. This is what we use ourselves. So Skilleduplife is built by volunteers. We are our best customer. And we know what works, we know what doesn't work, because we use, so you could argue saying our product is people, right? That come through Skilleduplife, and we are using our own product. So now we issue a certificate if people did perform. We have, what you could also understand is that people drop out, lots of things happen with, we are dealing with humans. So there's an attrition rate as well. So you could then extend it to another term. What we don't have is the specific structure you mentioned. We can look at doing something like that in the future. The whole idea behind 3 months is that, you are volunteering, you are giving your time. Yes, you are getting a return, but the idea is that you should be able to take what the new experience and skills to go and secure a new job, get a promotion or whatever. So it's not meant to sort of continue forever. However, we had one individual who volunteered for 5 terms. At the end, I had to kick him out, simply saying that, I know you enjoy being with us, but you had to really go out and, monetize what you gain through us. So we have, the whole Nigeria started because we had this chap called Godwin Mayaki who joined us at maybe the year 2 or something. He volunteered for us for a whole year. He was very experienced. He got involved because he saw this as a good thing for Nigeria. And then when we were able to offer him a job, we got him as head of marketing. He left us a couple of months ago because he wanted to build his own company. So most likely he will subscribe to us next month. And plus he wants to do a few other things. So, people can stay as long as you want. There's nothing, we're not going to stop them. But I think the reality is that we want this, people to actually, commercially benefit. And the way they can commercially benefit is by going outside and monetizing what they got through us or through one of our customers.
All right. So Emeka, are you okay? Amaka, sorry.
Yeah.
that was intentional.
Yeah, that makes sense. Thank you very much. I appreciate the response. Thank you.
I think a lot of people value certificates, but really, one of the things we want to do, we're not there yet, is that we want to create what I call high performers. Because if we can create high performance while they are volunteering, when they actually go into the, what I call the real world where you are earning money, you will be a high performer so that you can advance your career faster. We are trying to define what that looks like within the volunteering context. I think, again, I'm sort of going back to saying version 2 point whatever. once we get there, we'll have, we will try to work out saying, okay, what are those KPIs the individuals need to hit. One of the big problems we have is that we have many volunteers who do not have, lack professionalism, lack soft skills. They've done a course, let's say a software engineering or whatever, but they lack soft skills. Things like you need to come to if you're coming to a meeting, you got to come on time. Very rarely people do that. If you can't come, you should send an email saying, sorry, can't come because of this reason. Sometimes, interviews, people don't come. Even after going through the whole process, people ghost others. So there's a lot of those type of problems. What we are also looking at is that we can't fix every problem, but we want to create opportunities for other businesses to come along and try to rectify them. So there could be partners that work with us who actually help individuals to improve their soft skills. They might be running it as a course, charging them, but outside us. So then they improve the quality, they improve the performance levels. So there's a lot of different things that could be done around us.
Okay, thank you very much. So you did mention, this is a follow-up question to something I asked earlier. You said the pool of volunteers are all over the world. Would African startup also have access to the quality of volunteers that maybe a UK startup will get? Because I'm imagining a Nigerian startup or a Ghanaian startup, would it be as easy to get maybe a British be volunteering for a Nigerian startup? What are your viewpoints on this?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there are no barriers. People are people. It doesn't matter where they come from. And sometimes, let's say, looking at the opposite direction, sometimes people in UK might think, oh, they're from African countries. What do they know? That's not true at all. So anyone can tap into anyone. So just to explain that, at the moment, because where we are hosting our product, two countries can't access us. One is China, one is Russia. When we build the next version, that will disappear. And I've been personally doing a project myself, trying to get us exposed into China. And one of the recent volunteers who join us is in the capacity of HR. She actually worked for Alibaba, so has a lot of experience. So she joined us because she wants to get experience in an English-speaking environment. So you can access a top talent from anywhere. It doesn't matter really. I think the world is much closer than ever. And we have people from UK, US, Europe, anywhere. So South Africa, South America, we have work with individuals where they can't speak English, but we use Google Translate. When I to build my our Chinese network, I'm actually on a Chinese social network. I can't speak a word or write a word of Chinese. I use Google Translate to talk to them, right? So what we're trying to prove is that language is no longer a barrier. If people are willing, anything can be achieved.
Okay, thank you very much. My next question will be, do you have plans to more or less also support the startups that are on maybe that I come as a startup and then your platform is giving me a backing with now that I'm also thinking that why don't you also look at, okay, let me just ask my question and later I give my suggestions on. So do you have future plans where you could help startups maybe with their financial backing or technical backing as you roll out the new version that you are saying?
Yes, I mean, we tried this a long time. I think it was very premature. We looked at whether we can create a micro fund, and we looked at funding a small amount, not big amount, like £5,000. We actually, we were a little bit naive. We were a little bit very early. I think what will happen, as I mentioned, that we are right now operating without much data. When we have a better technology, I think what we want to do is that we want to showcase the best companies to emerge from Skilleduplife, they are highly efficient use of whatever the cash they have. So they are cash efficient, and companies still need money, right? Even if we provide all talent free, they still need money. So we will look at how to create environments where other people, maybe the investors will come and look at the let's say the best performing 10 companies or whatever. We had I think again a very premature conversation where venture capitalist was interested in looking at building an accelerator on top of us. Even if they want to build it now, it won't work. So we just had to wait a little bit longer where we got a lot more experience and also have the technology available to do it in a way that makes sense. Now there are accelerators all over the world. They give you some give you money, some charge. They give mentors, coaches, networks. What none of them are able to do is provide the talent. We can provide the talent. So it's possible that I don't want to run accelerator on top of it, but somebody else might want to come and run accelerator. There may be, I think in Africa, there are a lot of grants available because we have education partners who get funded by MasterCard and others. So they get a lot of cash. So it's possible that there are other grant schemes out there where they want to support entrepreneurship. So maybe one of those companies will come and say, they want to build something on top of Skilleduplife. So we will look at it. We ourselves might not want to go and do it, because I think one of the things I'm very clear about is we just want to do what we are doing, nothing more. We want to help individuals build tech companies. We want to help individuals get experience and improve their life. I think the world is very large. If we can just do this very, very well, that's enough, I think, for me, right? But we will create environments for others to come and do other more cleverer things on top of us. So then our role become, go and find more people to come, go and find more companies to come. But collectively we can...
Manoj, we lost you. Okay. Festus.
Right, let me try. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I think we lost you in the last bit of your
Okay,
submission.
so I was basically saying, other people can build things on top of us to create a lot more value. We might not ourselves want to do certain things. So we become what I call a human platform.
All right. Festus, please. You're our last speaker. So just wrap it up.
Okay, thank you very much. My name is Festus. I'm the head of global sales for Skilleduplife. Skilleduplife is a very good platform, for everyone, that may want to transition into another industry, or probably for those who are trying to land their first job. I think Manoj has said it all, but why I just say let me chip in a little, because I'm actually a testament of what the values, Skilleduplifers can actually gain. I started my career in pharmaceuticals, before I moved to FMCG, and I wanted to transition into tech, because we all know that tech is the next big thing now in the world. So, and I didn't know how to go about it until I came across Skilleduplife, and it actually gave me the platform, to be able to gain some valuable skills. So I started with Skilleduplife as the regional team lead for Nigeria. I did my first term as a volunteer, and luckily I was promoted, to the head of global sales in my second term. So for Skilleduplife. So for me, it's a very good platform. I will encourage anyone that that want to actually learn new things. Because at times we are so relaxed, in our comfort zone, and then we feel like, we don't want to do something else. So I think it's an opportunity for us to learn, able to relearn. And, in technology, that's what it is now. So I really thank God for the opportunity, the impact, Skilleduplife is actually making. So I'm part of the team, the sales and customer acquisition team, helping the 10 founders to grow their company. Because if you look at the value, our value proposition, is a very good one, because a lot of tech startup, especially at their early stage, is very difficult, especially when you are self-funded. It's damn hard, to actually build teams. But with Skilleduplife, you have the opportunity, for you to be able to attract, get the talents to build your team. Because we all know that talent acquisition is part of the one of the challenges that tech startup, usually encounter, apart from maybe regulatory barriers and maybe capital and other things, talents. Because definitely, even if you have the resources and you don't have the required talents, whatever, if you have a good product and you don't have the team, that product will fail. So it's actually something good that we are doing at the impact, we are making. And I urge everyone to be part of this. Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to speak here. Thank you.
All right, first of all, I need to send you an invoice as well. The way you have marketed your page here. Anyway, that's great. George, do you have any last words? And then I go to George and then we close.
Okay, so summary: be determined just to give back to society your bundle of experience and hoping for the best. We'll get there, but remember, anybody that sows will always reap. Thank you.
All right. So, my Lord, I have a series of questions for all my guests when they join my platform. So, my first question is, what was the one advice that helped you growing up and has made you to become the man that you are? And the second advice will be a financial advice that you want to share with us.
Okay. Sorry, what's the first question again?
One advice or philosophy that you stick with when you were growing up, or somebody gave you, or somebody advised that has made you who you are today. You want to share that with us, and then one financial advice that you want to share with us as well.
I'm 56, so it's very hard to say, pick a particular advice.
Just give us life advice, probably. Then we just.
Yeah, I think I'm trying to find something clever to say, and nothing really clever comes to my mind. I think life is all about gaining experiences in one way or another, and then finding in some way of actually trying to do something better for everyone. I don't know whether that's advice. There's things like I've been trying to build tech companies for 20 years now. I had many failures. And I had 2 exits before. I'm running 3 tiny companies, including Skilleduplife now. There's a lot of people with a lot of experiences. So I think you got to make sure you worked out what you want to achieve in life and just go for it. I think there are a lot of people who will say, who will not help you. And then there are some who would help you. So I would say, just aim and go for it. No one told me to do it. But you just find your way around it. And, the world is a big place, but also very, very small in terms of, thanks to internet, everybody can get to know everyone else. LinkedIn is a great platform. And we ourselves are helping in that process of creating this environment. But it's for you to use it, you to demand, us to be better, and in the process, I believe that everybody can win. So I don't know whether that's advice or not, but that's how I feel.
The financial advice that has made you.
Yeah, so I'll give you a bit of not about me. I don't think I'm a good person to follow in that respect, but I think if you ever want to build a tech company, my typical advice is that it will take whatever the goal you set, it will take 3 times longer than your worst case scenario. Again, if you budget it, the worst case budget, it will cost 3 times more. And if you have a daytime job, please keep the job, don't leave it until you have a means of matching whatever you were earning first. So when I started building tech companies, I thought consultancy was a bad thing. You should just go and build a company. I actually now changed my viewpoint. You should always keep a way of earning money while you try out building a company, because most of us fails. Very few people make a success. But it's a risk and reward, right? But if you do succeed, you could not just get to a point where you are financially better, but you end up helping a lot of people on the way as well. So don't leave your day job, but we are part of the story of letting you stay in the day job, but also try out building your company. If you got idea, if you can afford £30 a month, you could build a team. You could, while keeping your day job, you can start to build a tech company. And if you are successful, you get to a point where the company will generate enough for you to switch from that whatever your day job into becoming a full-time entrepreneur. So don't just jump in. And the other thing is that if you ever want to build a tech company, you have no idea how to go about, join us as a volunteer. Spend time with in the marketing role, sales role, support role. Learn all the trail while helping another company. Then go and build your own company. Don't just jump in. I think there's a lot of people seeing Mark Zuckerberg and others, but that's the small number of success stories. There's a huge number of failures. So try to de-risk it as much as possible. But we are just part of the story. There's a lot of things are happening that's going to help you build a company a lot easier than in the past.
Yeah, I think what you said, it makes sense. And most people are not aware of that hassle. Personally, I've had to start over 3 times trying to build a company. But we should thank you for putting out there. If you are started, I think there's a word for you to also take notice of. Don't leave your day job. Just put in as much as you can. Have a way of managing the two. If it works, fine. If it's not, you can keep the day job and then make it work. Thank you very much for joining, everyone. Janet, Brenda, Jessica, Kwame, Elech. The names are, let me just, Eliasu, Awudu, Mary, Osu. If I get your name wrong, please forgive me, okay? But I didn't really go to a better school, but I'm trying. Bafo, Senu Seidu, Comfort Say, Indina, I got your name right? Okay. Ozuma, Gino, something like that. Okay, and then Janice Firebrand. That's a wonderful name. Okay, you want to speak? All right. And hi.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. I'm giving you
Okay.
a few minutes to wrap up for us.
Yeah, I'll make it very quick. So it's my first time joining, and I really enjoyed the session. I just wanted to add a quick one, based on advice for startups, basically, because the guest was saying that some people, when they start a business, they tend to fail. And for me, what I have learned in my journey is focusing on a real problem. So when you're starting a business, if you focus on a real problem and you understand your customers' pain points deeply, and you create a solution that truly adds value, I find that you tend to stay. So it's going to be challenging, but in the midst of all the challenges, you just realize that strength grows in moments when you think that you can't go on, but then you just have to keep going anyway. And that's just one little thing that I wanted to add. And for financial advice, I have found that what has worked for me is to always pay yourself first. What I mean by that is setting aside some savings before you spend on anything else. this habit actually builds financial security and gives you peace of mind. Yeah.
All right, thank you. Well, on your first point, I think Africa, we have a different challenge on the first point because personally, my 3 startup that I failed, it wasn't me, it was people that I employed that more or less, okay, it's my fault because I employed them though, but they came and they used my startup to build their own. So it's a different thing. You have a problem and then they come. So we learn. So they make sure you are done for, and then they build you, take your things, take your customers, and sometimes it's difficult to really start over. But we are here sharing knowledge here and there just to help somebody in a way. So I really appreciate your input and then the advice as well. On the advice, pay yourself first. All right, that's great. And the names, I've Steven, I think you should connect with Maju because he also have a startup company. Timbetopi, if I had your name right. Well, if you don't know that I've mentioned your name, I'm trying. All right, Jessica, I've mentioned your name. All right, thank you very much for joining. I really appreciate your time. After the YouTube channel, hopefully I can get this on it so that you can listen to the full session. So just type my name. I'm trying to work on it. Last time I had a very bad recording when I had the last event with a group of ladies, but we are trying to get it better. Manoj, your last words, then we close.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, thank you so much having me here and giving me time, and all of you in the audience as giving your time as well, and also very interesting questions. Thank you, and I think there's great things we can do, but you can also do them as well. So if there's anything that we can help, quite happy to come up with ideas, etc.
All right, thank you. And I think you mentioned that your marketing guy left you. So if anybody in the audience is looking for a marketing position, you should just contact either George Festus or the boss himself and see whether you can get a marketing gig out of this. All right, so thank you very much. We'll be meeting on the 29th with another session of Empowering Africa, the mindset, growth mindset. I also invite you to join. And let's help transform one African youth at a time. I really appreciate your presence, and God bless you all for joining.
Thank you so much. Bye.